Hello. Today I'm in Nagatinskaya, which is a place in Moscow. We're out here exploring, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what I miss about England now that I live in Russia. And you could say the weather. I certainly don't enjoy walking in this slushy snow, but let's get into it. I'm currently walking through what seems to be the back alleys of some sort of business centre. So I'm actually searching for a pub, and it's around here somewhere. But the thing is, in Russia, most things are well hidden because they're all in the same place. Here it is on my left, behind the mountains of snow. It's more of a craft beer. It's a bar though. Let's get a pint. Здравствуйте. Hello. Можно снимать чуть-чуть? Да, возможно. Да. А можно мне, пожалуйста, пиво?
Конечно.
Но
пиво здесь, покушать здесь.
Пиво. Русское пиво.
Ну, русское пиво, да. Опять же, можно здесь, можно на телевизоре, как тебе удобнее будет.
Ага. So Russia.
Из импортного только вот пшеничка немецкая.
Немецкая. Я хочу попробовать русский.
Русский,
да?
смотри,
да?
лагерь, либо какой стиль хочешь?
Мне все равно.
Да. Разные как бы.
Есть... Светлее, да?
Смотри, есть именно наш лагерь, классика жанра, и есть пилснер, чуть погорчее будет.
Пилснер. Ага. 465, да?
Да, это наш.
Можно. Мне,
большой,
пожалуйста.
0,5, 250?
0,5, пожалуйста. У вас есть еду?
Еда, вот она все здесь.
Спасибо.
Все, да?
Все, да. Извините, я изучаю. Это спорт-бар тоже, да?
Не, это не спорт-бар. Это просто обычный бар.
Понял. I'm joined with some lovely company. As you can see. Alright, this is my first time drinking real Russian craft beer. This has to be my first pint in maybe, I don't know, 3 months. So yeah, the main thing I miss is going down your local pub, meeting with your friends or your family and having a pint in the local, you know? You don't really have this type of thing here in Russia, which is fine because that's normal, right? It's different culture. They do try and replicate an Irish pub and so on, but it's just not the same, is it? It's just not the same. But overall, this pint's actually really good. One thing about Russia is that they always have some kind of unapologetic, I don't know what the word is, they're just very unapologetic about their history. Look, you've got Karl Marx. People get offended about this type of thing. Stalin. But it's just very interesting. They really do preserve their history. And this is just a random craft beer bar. Look, Lenin up there. Quite interesting, actually. Anyway, I'm gonna order a chicken burger. Спасибо. Мне понравилось все. Да, спасибо. До свидания. Do you know one thing I really miss about England? The safety. Right now, it's not very safe in Russia. You know, that's what all the media outlets say. And if you haven't realised, that was sarcasm, what I just said. Recently, and I say recently, yesterday there was another stabbing in England. Just typical England nowadays. You know, it's, what was it? The sky's blue. That's a fact. There was a stabbing in England. That's a fact. It's real. It's reality. I don't feel less safe in Russia than I do in England. In fact, I feel more safe in Russia. And again, it's a political take, but look, it's just facts. I don't feel like I have to watch my back all the time, which is a good thing. However, I still do it anyway because it's good to do that, it's good to practice that. But I really feel like sometimes I can really let my guard down. And look, that's a society that we all want to live in, let's be honest. And these are new modern complexes in Russia. People live in these. And in the distance there on the river, I thought all Russians lived in flats without toilets and without washing machines. Well, I know it's Moscow, but even outside of Moscow, that's not true. I mean, I have to be honest with you, it's not my preferred style. It's a modern look. I don't like the modern style. I prefer character, which is the old Soviet style apartment blocks. But hey, it doesn't look bad. And this is an adventure for you as it is for me. I have no idea where I am. I always pick a place where I haven't been before. So yeah, I know, I can hear you in the comment section already. Where is your hat? Well, I've put my hood up and I've put my snood on. Another thing I dearly miss is the British sense of humour. Yeah, our banter. In my opinion, we are the best at jokes. We are the best at having this, I don't know, I don't even know how to call it. But I miss that so much. I spend a lot of time with Kat. And I say jokes, I say witty things, I say blunt things. I have dry humour, you know. And it just goes over her head. She has no idea. And when I try and communicate with her family, the same thing happens, right? And that's a cultural difference. And I'm used to it. I understand that not only in Russia, but like the Slavic world, they're just not used to such sarcasm, such humour. But I really miss that. British banter is the pinnacle of humour, in my opinion. The fact you can take the mick out of someone and it not be a big deal, you know? It just doesn't translate well into the Russian culture. But as you can see, as I look out onto the Moscow River, I believe this is the Moscow River, all you can see in the distance as well, being constructed in the distance, and here, is just apartment blocks. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean many people are moving to Moscow from the outskirt regions? Probably. But it just tells you how many more apartment blocks does there need to be. I mean, over there, 1, 2, 3, 4, nearly 6 I can see, 7 just in the distance. I hope I've got on the right tram, because I recognize absolutely nothing. Where am I going? Well, that tram got filled up very quickly, and it just made me think how well maintained Russian public transport is, how clean it is. Because right now, in my opinion, Russia is the least attractive country in the world. The February to March period is not the nicest, because it's just this brown snow everywhere, water, and so on. Another thing I really miss about England is Greggs, and I'm still looking for a replacement for that in Russia. And I can't find one, because no place in Russia practically has anything to do with beans in, because my favourite thing from Greggs was a sausage and bean pasty. None of that exists here, unfortunately. The best you've got in relation to a Greggs in Russia is the shop bakery. And even when you go in these bakeries, there is no sausage rolls, no pasties. In fact, I'm in front of a shop here and I'll show you. This is your typical Russian shop. It's called Pechurachka. I would equate this to the Sainsbury's or Tesco of England. This is all you got. I mean, you can get these in Greggs, but where are the sausage rolls? Is that a sausage roll? It's a cheese roll. And that's it, that's what I mean. There isn't that sort of taste, or I don't know how to explain it. Just gonna grab a protein drink because I need some protein today as I'm starting going back to the gym. So there you go, I haven't came across a Russian equivalent of Greggs. And that's what you're dealing with. Which is absolutely fine because Greggs is its own thing. It's like a very rare cuisine, I guess, of the Russian, of the English, sorry, English cuisine, like beans. Did you know, like, when you go traveling, not many countries actually like baked beans. So I'm going into shops and I can't see them, and it's a shock. But I think every Brit that travels or lives abroad can agree with me that if they like baked beans, or Greggs, yeah, you just don't get it anywhere else but in the UK, and I miss it so much. It sounds so stupid, but it's true. Also, these are the average Russian apartment blocks on my right. Well, there you go. I mean, there's not much to see, is there? There isn't much to see. However, I bring this up because it's just a concrete block, essentially, right? But they are going through a revamp. I'm not sure what it's called, because to the modern person, yeah, to the person that likes modern architecture and like living in a nice looking place and so on, that's not very nice, is it? A concrete block. However, for me, it shows some character. I don't know why. There's something I like about these Soviet blocks, but if you look in front of me now, right here, this does look nice. You can't say this doesn't look nice. It looks modern, it looks new, it looks fresh, it looks good. So that is what the Russians are now doing to these old apartment blocks here in Russia. And to be honest with you, as much as I dislike modern architecture, and as much as I, you know, really dislike it because it's soulless, I don't think that's too bad. However, in order to get this, you know, the renovation of the apartment block, the residents living in there need to vote on whether or not they want to have this renovation. And I know for my block that I live in now, the majority disagreed. They did not want, essentially, what is on my left here. And I think that tells you the Russian mentality. We're okay with what we've got. We don't need all this new stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I'm sure there's some Russians who will say their opinion as well. Now, another thing I dearly miss about the UK is the appointment times for healthcare. I have asthma, and I already mentioned this before in a previous video, but it took me about 3 months to get an asthma appointment in the UK. Like, what's going on? Now, here in Russia, and I'm not just saying this because I'm living here at the moment, but I genuinely have received better healthcare in Russia than I have in the UK. My asthma specialist that I'm seeing at the moment, he's gave me a good actionable plan to actually see how my asthma improves and so on and so forth. Whereas when I was in the UK, I was having different asthma nurses, and it was just inconsistent. There was no action plan. It was just bad. And again, I'm not just saying that. I'm being honest, and I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. I'm not here to tell lies. But yeah, so I have to say, I don't actually miss the NHS, but again, it's English sarcasm, it's British sarcasm. It's just funny. how much snow there is this winter. Well, I guess it's not winter anymore, it's spring. But again, I'm in a trench. Look at this, this is a trench. Another thing I miss about England, I'm taking this down, getting too hot in here. One thing I miss about England is walking in the British countryside. It's one of the most beautiful things we have in the country. I miss that. However, I know I can experience that here in Russia. I need to go to the Russian countryside because the Russian countryside is beautiful. I know it is. Just haven't been there yet. And obviously it's winter, so it's not going to look too pretty at the moment, but that's something I really want to do. So expect that in a future video. I might go into a Russian village and try and communicate with locals, and you know, hopefully by then I can speak Russian a little bit better. And here's your average Russian children's park. No one in here, of course, but I do believe, you know, children don't go to school on weekends. So that's that. I mean, to be fair, I think the standard of this park is probably the same of an English park, but no one goes in the British parks anymore. They're ghost towns. But one good thing is that children do get outside in Russia. You know, they're not all just iPad babies. You can probably hear in the background there's some children playing. And I mean, they're playing in the ice rink just here. That's pretty much everything I miss about England. And again, not much, is there? Not much that I miss. Apart from my family. I guess that's the most, you know, if you exclude everything from this list, I miss my family the most. But that's life, innit? That's life. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my video today. I'm currently walking on top of a trench, and that person can't park their car because there's ice on it. Welcome to Russia, baby. That's what I've got to say. Whoa. Thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing and watching the video that's on your screen right now. I'll see you on the next video.